Okay, have you ever thought about a career where you get to mix your love for animals with, real hardcore science? And not just that, but also get to teach the next wave of animal doctors? Well, get ready, because we're about to map out what that looks like. Think of it as an epic quest, your 15-year journey to becoming a professor in veterinary sciences. Let's dive in.
All right, every good quest needs a map, right? So here's ours. First, we're going to talk about the calling. Basically, why this field needs people like you right now more than ever. Then we'll look at the path itself, figure out the tools you'll need to succeed, check out the treasure, the rewards, and let's be real, the challenges. And finally, we'll map out the next step to get you started.
So, first things first, the calling. Look, this isn't just about picking a job from a list. It's about answering a real need in our world. You'd be surprised just how connected everything is when it comes to animal health. So, the big question is, why is this mission so incredibly important?
So yeah, let's just put it out there. Why is veterinary science blowing up right now? I mean, what makes it more vital today than ever before? Well, the answers are actually all around us, in our homes, and even in our global health headlines.
Okay, get this. A full 70%, that's how many households in the US now have a pet. Think about that for a second. That's not just some dry number on a page. It's a huge cultural shift. Our pets are family now, right? And that puts veterinarian care right at the center of things, which, you guessed it, creates this massive demand for experts.
And all that demand, it translates directly into opportunity. We're talking about a projected 19% job growth for vets through 2033. To put that in perspective, that's way, way faster than the average for most other jobs. So for anyone thinking about this path, the door isn't just a little bit open, it's been thrown wide open. But it's so much bigger than just looking after our cats and dogs. This leads us to this really important idea called One Health. It's pretty simple, actually. The health of people, the health of animals, and the health of our planet are all tied together. You can't separate them. And veterinary scientists, they're on the front lines of this, dealing with diseases that can jump from animals to humans, things like bird flu, or, even the kinds of viruses we've all become very familiar with lately. They're basically guardians of public health. Okay, so you feel the pull, you've answered the call. Awesome. Now let's talk about the road ahead. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of that 15-year quest. And it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. But the good news is, it's a journey with very clear steps along the way.
Now, let's just be real for a second about the time commitment. After high school, you're looking at somewhere between 12 and 18 years of focused work. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a huge investment, but it's an investment that gets you to a place of real expertise and major influence. So let's break down what those years actually look like.
So here it is, the roadmap. It all kicks off with a 4-year bachelor's degree, getting that solid foundation in biology, chemistry, the whole 9 yards. Then you jump into the 4-year Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, or DVM program. That's where you build your clinical chops. After vet school, most people do a 1-year internship to get some real-world hands-on experience. From there, it's a 3 to 5-year residency where you really specialize in something cool, like surgery or oncology. And the final boss level, especially for academia, a 4 to 6-year PhD. That's what turns you into a bona fide research expert.
And that last step, the PhD, it's kind of non-negotiable. I mean, look at this. A whopping 80% of veterinarian faculty have both a DVM and a PhD. That combo is the absolute gold standard. It tells the world you're not just an amazing vet, you're also a serious researcher who can run a lab and inspire students.
All right, so you're on the path. Now it's time to start forging your tools. And I'm not just talking about the degrees you hang on the wall. This is about building a very specific, very high-level set of skills that are going to make or break your success in academia. A truly great veterinary professor is like a master of 4 different things at once. First, you got to have that top-notch clinical skill. You need to know the practice inside and out. Second, you need serious research smarts, which includes the all-important skill of writing grants that actually get funded. Third, you have to be a great teacher and mentor, someone who can really light a fire in your students. And finally, you need killer communication and leadership skills to manage a lab and work with other smart people. It's a really unique mix, for sure. Okay, let's clear something up that can be a little confusing. Think of it this way. A state license is your ticket to the game. It's the mandatory piece of paper that says you can legally practice as a vet. Period. Diplomate status, though? That's the VIP pass. It means you're board certified in a specialty. You're the expert's expert in, say, cardiology or dermatology. And in the world of academia, being a diplomat is huge. It gives you instant credibility and shows you're at the absolute top of your game.
So, you've put in the years, you've gathered your skills. Now for the payoff. Let's talk about the treasure at the end of this long quest. And that means talking about the incredible rewards, but also being honest about the very real challenges you're going to face.
Let's talk money, because it's definitely a factor. The financial rewards here are pretty significant. In the US, you could start out as an assistant professor making around 110 grand, and that can climb to over 185,000 as a full professor. And as you can see, it's a similar story in places like the UK and Australia. It's a career that definitely pays well for all that hard-earned expertise.
And it's not just about the starting point. There's real upward momentum here. We're seeing steady salary growth year after year. And why is that? It all comes back to simple supply and demand. There's a huge need for qualified veterinary academics, and just not enough of them to go around. That makes it a really stable and growing financial path.
And this quest could land you at some truly legendary places. I mean, imagine working at UC Davis, which is pretty much always ranked #1 in the States, or a place like Cornell that pulls in over $50 million a year just for research. Or what about the Royal Veterinary College in London, the oldest vet school in Europe? These aren't just universities. These are the places where the future of the field is being written.
But you know, every epic quest has its dragons to slay, and this one is no different. Let's be real. Competition for these jobs is intense. The hours are no joke. We're often talking more than 60 hours a week. And getting grants for your research, it's a constant fight, with something like 80% of applications getting rejected. All of that pressure can lead to burnout. It just means that your passion and your ability to bounce back are every bit as important as the letters after your name.
Okay, we've covered the why, the how, and the what. Now for what I think is the most important part, how you actually start your own adventure. Let's get into the practical, actionable steps you can take right now.
And as you're thinking about that first step, just let this sink in. The path to influencing animal welfare and public health starts here. That really says it all, doesn't it? This isn't just a job title. It's a chance to make a real, lasting difference in the world.
So how do you actually land that first faculty job? Here's a 4-step game plan. Number 1, publish, publish, publish. You really want to aim for 5 to 10 solid peer-reviewed papers. Number 2, network, like your career depends on it. Because it does. Get to those big conferences. Number 3, get any teaching experience you can, even if it's small stuff. And number 4, and this is crucial, you have to tailor every single application. Seriously, no copy-pasting your cover letter. They can tell.
And remember, you are not on this quest alone. Think of these organizations as your allies. You've got the American Veterinary Medical Association, the World Veterinary Association, and the Association of American Veterinary Medical Colleges. These are absolute powerhouses for finding mentors, hearing about jobs, and just staying in the loop. My advice? Get involved with them as early as you can.
So here we are, right back where we started, with a big question. You've got the map, you know what tools you need to build. The path, as long as it is laid out for you. So the only real question left is, what's your contribution going to be? What mark will you leave on animal and human health? The adventure is all yours.